Hey, so I'm going to now introduce Sabrina. So Sabrina Zeif has worked in the food industry unbelievably for more than 25 years. Sabrina is a registered nutritional therapist and she's also an accomplished chef. She's an ambassador for the Real Food UK campaign. And Sabrina is also a co-author of the book Natural Menopause. She's a nutritional lead for Liberty Health Clinics, and they work with individuals to provide medical and holistic menopause care and support. And Sabrina, in educating people, talks about and uses her own experiences around a lack of support in dealing with menopause, combined with her love of food, which I'm sure is going to come across tonight, to help women embrace change and guide women on how best to use good nutrition to support a positive menopause. So without further ado, Sabrina, I'm going to hand over to you to lead us through this session, and we'll do a question and answer slot at the end. Thank you very much, Sabrina.
Thank you. Well, thank you for such a lovely introduction. So ladies, I'm Sabrina Zeif. And the purpose of my talk today is to give you a snapshot about menopause and how nutrition and food can impact menopause. And it really is going to be a snapshot. So here goes. I like to call this what's happening to you, as in what's happening to me. Now, midlife is kind of known now as a sandwich generation, this generation of women, all of us, because we tend to have either children at home, teenagers, and at the same time, some may have aging parents, but there are things like changes in job situation, life changes, lots of things happening. It could be separation, divorce, empty nest syndrome. And then you throw into this mix COVID that's happening, job stress. It's really not an easy time, is it? Then comes what? Menopause. Nobody prepared us. I don't know about you, but I certainly was not prepared 10 years ago. Anyway, so I'm hoping to now give you enough information so that you're much better prepared. So menopause is a natural transition for most women. And what it is it's when our hormones start declining. And there are three main ones. Estrogen, which as it starts declining, it actually fluctuates and it doesn't do it in any rhyme or reason. Progesterone actually starts and it declines slowly. Testosterone does the same thing. It's a slow decline. Now, we kind of call this a hormone disable, and it's different for every woman. So the average age of menopause is around 51. But that's just the average. And when you're in menopause, it means you haven't had a period for 12 months. And from that point on, you're postmenopausal for the rest of your life. Now, here's the thing. If you go and have a period after 10 months, then that means you're not yet postmenopausal. And you're only menopausal for one day. That makes sense. Perimenopause predominantly happens to women in your mid-40s, and this can last for 4 to 5 years, and for some women, maybe up to 10. Okay, don't panic. Some women actually start earlier, and in early menopause, 1% of women happens to 1% of women before the age of 40, and some can have surgically induced menopause. So how is it diagnosed? Well, blood tests before the age of 45 can actually tell whether you're in menopause or perimenopause, sorry. But symptoms after the age of 45, blood tests are not accurate. And really the healthcare professional will go on symptoms. And signs can be when periods start to become irregular or you see changes in your period pattern. Again, but this would be whether you're not on a pill. Now, here's the thing. 100 years ago, menopause was an old woman thing. And why? Because women only lived till they were 58 and they had menopause at 57. Women now live for decades past menopause. Some of us will live a third of our lives in postmenopause. So women are living much longer now without these hormones. And hence there's an increased risk of things like diabetes, osteoporosis, heart disease, and even things like dementia. 80% of menopausal women work. And here's the thing, 1 in 3 women in the workforce will soon be over 50, and the retirement age is 68. So we need to get a grip of this thing. So let me ask you this. Does anybody feel like they've been run over by a bus? Let me know afterwards. Okay, so let's talk about what are these symptoms. You are not going crazy and you're not falling apart. But because we have estrogen receptors all over our body, that means we can have symptoms that are physical, mental, emotional. But nobody told us this. Yeah, I mean, nobody told me. So, and most of the symptoms are caused by the decline in estrogen. And remember, I just said estrogen can fluctuate. So the symptoms just come and go, and there is no rhyme or reason of how they happen. So somebody may have one set of symptoms and you may not have them. And that's how it kind of goes. So let's have a quick look. Hot flushes and night sweats. This is what most people know about. But what about, have you brain fog, mood swings? Have your mood swings gotten worse? Anxiety, irritability, memory problems, difficulty concentrating, migraines and headaches. If you've had migraines and headaches before, sometimes they get worse. Mine did, 6 weeks of migraines. And sometimes women who've never had migraines, they might happen. Okay, low sex drive. Who's lost that loving feeling? Vaginal dryness, vaginal irregular periods I mentioned. Other things like skin, hair falling out, dry skin, itchy skin, wrinkles, altered sense of smell, burning mouth, gum problems, brittle nails, change in body odor. I was once in a class, an exercise class, guy, damn, who smells like that? It was me. And I never used to smell before. It was awful. Anyway, breast pain, digestive problems, bloating, flatulence. Suddenly, if you sneeze, you do a wee. Urinary incontinence, joint pain, osteoporosis, muscle stiffness. Okay, that's just to give you an idea. It's not to make you depressed, right? Unexpected signs in perimenopause can be heavy flooding. I mean heavy flooding. Unexpected rage. Anybody? Loss of confidence. I lost my confidence. Anybody lost their filter? So one thing is really important is to keep track of your symptoms. So have a diary, however is easy for you, and keep track. Look at also food triggers. The management of symptoms in terms of what I've just talked about. The first line therapy is hormone replacement therapy, HRT, alongside with diet and lifestyle. Now, I'd like to mention this vaginal atrophy or dry vagina. Ladies, please don't be embarrassed. Go to your GP, because if you have an intercourse and it's painful, do not suffer. GPs will readily prescribe pest-resistant creams that are systemic, and they work quite locally. So do not suffer. Women suffer in silence, and many highly qualified and knowledgeable women are leaving or have left the workplace without even knowing it was due to menopause symptoms. And so with more talks and education, gosh, and all this World Menopause Day and stuff like, and you guys listen to me, the idea is to change perceptions and guide you into a midlife of strength. And I'd like to mention here HRT, which let's have a chat about this afterwards. HRT has come a long way. There are lots of new formulations which include gels and patches, and they're very safe. The benefits of HRT are seen the earlier it started in terms of heart, bone, and brain health, because we know there's increased risk of fractures, heart disease, dementia when we lose estrogen. So what I can say is, please don't fear HRT. It can be a game changer. For me, it was as well. So let's talk about this afterwards. Now, I want to talk about stress. And you're going to say, well, what does stress have to do with menopause? Actually, a lot. Who feels stressed all the time? Has coping suddenly gotten worse? Did you used to be like Superwoman, but not anymore? You can't balance all those plates? Right. Now, here's the thing about stress. Stress is designed to be in short bursts. So it's the flight or fight syndrome. It could be emotional, it could be physical. And particularly women over 40, here's the thing, stress can mimic the symptoms of menopause, and menopause can make stress worse. So the stress response is when the adrenal glands produce cortisol. And chronic stress, what happens is the adrenal glands become overworked, and then you become really fatigued and tired. Now, the thing is, these adrenal glands that also produce cortisol also produce a small amount of estrogen when our estrogen production from our ovaries decline. Now, here's the thing, the adrenal glands can't produce this small amount of estrogen if they're busy producing cortisol. So this is really not good news for women, menopausal women, because we need our hormones, especially for our health and well-being. Estrogen helps to regulate the stress hormone. And as estrogen declines, things get a lot more stressful. And sometimes you feel you're just not coping well. Here's the other thing. High stress, chronic stress, long-term stress impacts our liver function, gut function, thyroid functions. So I just want to talk a little bit about some stress reducing tips. And pay heed. It's not easy to do. Learn to say no. Clear unwanted, don't want to do things in your diary. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good and not drain you. Slow down. Switch off. Don't feel guilty. Make some downtime non-negotiable. Never miss it, even if it's 5 minutes. Spend time outdoors. Walk at lunchtime. Listen to podcasts. Find something that will reduce your stress. Prioritize sleep. For example, get to bed by 10:30. No gadgets. I know we were really guilty of taking the phone and iPad and everything else to bed with us. Make sure there's a boundary between work and home. If you work from home like I do, close the office door. Have a digital detox. So listen to your body. Deep breathing when you're stressed. Never underestimate just stopping and breathing. Try some yoga or mindfulness course. So take a break. Taking a break helps us to switch off our overactive stress response. So let's look at the role of nutrition in menopause. Can diet and lifestyle make a difference? Absolutely. It can help you transition better. And not only that, it prepares you for the rest of your life. Okay, essential nutrition, menopause knowledge, eating well, all these things help to reduce or alleviate symptoms. And then couple this with sensible work-life balance or regular exercise. This lays a foundation for a healthier and happier menopause. Now, as our body changes, so does our dietary needs. And yes, our bodies do change. Women are all different, and as such, each has a different menopause experience that is also influenced by diet and lifestyle. Now, nutrition is incredibly individual thing like menopause. So what works for one may not work for you. There is no one size fits all way of eating before, during, and after menopause. Now, research has shown that many women enter midlife nutritionally deficient. So you may have or think you have a healthy diet, but busy, stressful lives can wreak havoc with your hormones and body, as stress temporarily switches off the digestive system. And this impedes your body from absorbing nutrients from food. Now, nutritional deficiencies can also be caused by poor sleep, alcohol, gut issues, poor and skipped meals. Now, throw into this midlife mix declining estrogen, slowing metabolism, which can both then contribute to weight gain, increased cholesterol levels, imbalance in our digestive system, and it can affect our gut. So what are we going to do? I want to talk a little bit about nutrition basics, because it's really important that this is the foundation. So nourishing your body is crucial during perimenopause. It's a time when your body is undergoing significant adjustments, and it's not a time of deprivation. Food is essentially made up of 3 macronutrients. We all know this: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And they are present in large amounts, unlike macronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals, which are present in small amounts. Most foods contain more than one macronutrient, but they are generally classified as the one they have the most in. For example, beans and pulses are classified as protein, but they also contain fiber-rich carbs. So let's look at protein. Why do we need them? Protein is essential for growth, repair of the body, maintenance of good health, and every cell in our body needs protein. Protein is also used to build and repair muscle and tissue. This is crucial for midlife women because of the loss of muscle mass and bone density. So our body doesn't store protein like it does carbohydrates. And as we eat as we age, and especially at menopause, muscle mass decreases. So eating protein can help to build and maintain muscle mass, along with things like resistance exercise, weights, and resistance bands. So research actually shows that midlife women don't eat enough protein. So the muscle mass, we know it's important for strength, boosting metabolism, it helps with weight management. And the more muscle mass means higher resting metabolism, which can help with weight management. So some sources of protein are meat and poultry, fish and seafood, eggs, tofu, edamame beans, chickpeas, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, quinoa, nuts. I'd like to say a little bit about nuts here, nuts and seeds actually. Nuts are nutrient dense. They're a good source of protein, fat, and fiber. They're packed with vitamins and minerals like magnesium, iron, B vitamins, zinc, selenium, and these are really important minerals and vitamins for midlife. You only need a handful a day. Seeds are nutritional powerhouses, and things like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, sesame seeds, these are all good sources of protein, healthy fats, and fiber. And quinoa, which some of you may or may not know, it's gluten-free, it's high in protein, it's got fiber, magnesium, lots of other minerals and vitamins, and it's an excellent vegetarian protein option. You use it like you would rice or pasta or porridge. I mean, it has no flavor, it's, you know, but it will absorb whatever flavor you use. So add it to soups and salads. Right, moving on to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Now, unrefined carbohydrates in moderation, they're not your enemy. And because, you know, the carbohydrates are the primary source of energy in a healthy diet, packed with nutrients, helps your metabolism on, keeps it on keel, fuel our muscles, and when chosen wisely, an excellent source of vitamins and minerals. So go beyond bread, pasta, rice, and potatoes. The brown options of those are good, but eat more fruit and vegetables. The slow release and complex carbs are digested slowly, and they provide a steady flow of glucose, which is high in fiber, and that helps with elimination, keeps you full for longer, which helps negate weight gain and mood fluctuations. So good sources would be things like beans, pulses, fruit, just berries, apples, pears, citrus, and vegetables. Brown rice, wholemeal bread, oats, sweet potato, even normal potatoes. So what you're aiming for is like a quarter of your plate to be starchy carbs. I'd like to say, step away from the refined ultra-processed carbs when you can. Cakes, biscuits, prepared sauces, read the labels. Now, modern day refined carbs are easy to eat, right? And also easy to overeat. Okay, think about white bread. How many slices can you wolf down in a couple of minutes? Be honest. These foods have their fibers removed, they're processed, they're refined, and they're rapidly absorbed in the body. So, in fact, you don't really have to chew them much, do they? But oh, they taste good. The refined foods, though, they lack the vitamins and minerals your body needs now. They're low in nutrients, they're low in fiber, they're high in calories, they're easy to consume, they're not filling, they got a lot of hidden fats. So I'm talking about things like croissant, crepes, potato chips, biscuits. It doesn't mean you can't have them. It's just everything, you just can't have a lot of them. Right, moving on. Let's look at good fats. It's the other bit of essential nutrition. Fats are essential in a midlife diet for energy, and not all fats are bad. We need them for energy, vitamin absorption. They boost our brain, needs them. It protects our heart. They benefit our bone health, as well as the essential manufacture of hormones. You don't need them, lots of them. You just need them in small amounts. And you get most of your fat from unsaturated sources like oily fish. So oily fish are things like sardines, salmon, mackerel, herrings, pilchards, trout, etc. Also things like nuts and seeds. And you can also include moderate amounts of saturated fats like butter, coconut oil, cheese, and even some red meat. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the amounts. I want to mention here a little bit about hydration. One of the classic mistakes women make is not drinking enough fluid, not the alcohol bit. So if you're drinking enough, your urine should be the color of pale straw. So get in the habit of when you get up in the morning, have a glass of water, a refillable bottle at your desk, one in your handbag as a reminder. Have herbal teas, and find one that you like. Make infusions of water with things like cucumber and mint, lemon and lime, any fruit that you like. And here's the thing, dehydration and fatigue can mimic hunger. Right, so I want to talk a little bit about phytoestrogens. What are they? They are compounds that occur naturally in a wide range of plant foods. They mimic estrogen by binding weakly to estrogen receptors in our body, and they have a kind of estrogen-like action and hormone balancing effect. And there are correlations when it comes to estrogen-rich foods, which include improvement in hot flushes, improved insulin sensitivity, blood sugar, and more bacterial diversity in our gut, which can improve bloating and digestion. Now, women in Asian cultures have a low incidence of hot flushes, which is possibly due to high level of estrogens found in soy, together with a largely plant-based diet. So example of phytoestrogen foods include tofu, soy, edamame beans, soybeans, flax seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, chickpeas, lentils, cruciferous vegetables, berries. I mean, some of these foods may be new to you, but they're all now readily available in the supermarket. An easy way to get this phytoestrogen into your diet is to make a phyto seed mix. And it's a seed mix that's made with 2 parts, I'll show you mine, 2 parts flaxseed, 1 part pumpkin seed, 1 part sunflower seed, and 1 part sesame seed. You just make that up in bulk. I just happen to have a small bottle just to show you. Make it up in bulk, and then just put these on vegetables, salads, cereals, soups, whatever you're doing. This mix is an excellent source of phytoestrogens, but you also get essential fatty acids, omega-3s in particular, fiber and protein. So moving on, let's talk about the good old gut. This is really important because good bacteria play a vital role in regulating hormones, especially estrogen. And as our hormone levels change during perimenopause, this can affect gut health. This can lead to digestive problems, flatulence, bloating, and it can even affect energy levels. I can tell you the flatulence bit is a bit embarrassing because I was there. Anyway, the gut is also involved in things like vitamin production, kills off harmful bacteria, reduces inflammation, controls the immune system. In fact, nearly 70% of the immune system is housed in our gut. It's also involved in digestion, absorption of nutrients, in terms of energy and heart health as well. The gut microbiome, and there are billions of these bacteria, can influence our mood, brain function, even weight regulation. 90% of our happy hormone serotonin is produced and stored in the gut. So the next time you're grumpy, angry, really anxious, weepy, and got low mood, this may reflect an out of balance gut microbiome. Just a thought. Now, many studies now appear to link low gut biodiversity with obesity, reduced insulin sensitivity, and increased body weight. Chronic stress can also impact gut health, which affects the absorption of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals as well. So how can you boost your gut health? You can do this with pre and probiotic foods so that the gut microbiota and the gut can do their jobs even when you're stressed. So what you eat and drink has a significant effect on your gut health. So it's important to eat at this point in your life more natural, unprocessed foods that encourage the growth of friendly bacteria. So what are they? Prebiotic foods are fibrous plant foods that feed the gut. So they feed all these billions of microbiomes, and they are foods like Jerusalem artichokes, onions, garlic, mushrooms, bananas, apples, grains, pulses like all lentils, chickpeas, etc., and cruciferous vegetables. So these are things that just have to try and incorporate them into your diet if they're not there. Probiotics are foods that promote the growth of good bacteria, fermented foods. Sauerkraut, kefir, organic yogurt, fermented vegetables, kimchi, kombucha. Now, experiment with fermented foods and bring them into your diet. I'll show you. This is what my husband and I have. It's kefir. And I get this is around a big bottle, it's a litre, because the old husband has now gotten onto it and he just chugs it. It's also way cheaper to buy a litre, but you can make kefir. Kefir is just fermented milk, and I'll show you. That's how much I have a day. It's not very much. We can chat again about this when we talk. If you look at what your grandparents used to do, how they used to ferment foods before we had refrigerators, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. It doesn't take much to make some fermented vegetables. Okay, and if you're going to buy, like say sauerkraut, things like that, make sure it's not pasteurized. If it's pasteurized, I mean all the bacteria are dead. So just have a look. So the things you can do for your gut: lower stress, eat slowly, stay hydrated, include pre and probiotic foods in your diet, reduce sugar consumption, reduce high fat, increase fiber, and try some bone broth. It's wonderful for healing your gut. Small changes can have a very dramatic effect in improving the state of your gut. So I want to talk a little bit here about the importance of balancing blood glucose. Now, when blood glucose is balanced, right, the body, and it'll be nice, steady release. The body then releases fat, it protects lean muscle, it eliminates cravings, and increases energies. When there are too many calories or too many carbs for a meal, so we've had a lot of biscuits or tons of French fries or chips, and you know you've overdone it, then the blood sugar spikes. Now, when the blood sugar spikes, there's a lot of sugar in your blood, then only so much of it can be stored properly. The rest of it is stored as fat. On the opposite end, when you skip meals and you strict calories or you're exercising an empty stomach, blood sugar drops. And the body then burns muscle, holds on to the fat, energy crashes, and woohoo, you're having cravings. So how do you combat this? If you only do one thing, focus on balancing your blood sugars, as it reduces stress on your body, it balances energy levels, it helps with cravings and weight gain. It's also crucial to mental health because it helps you in terms of if you have low blood sugar, it can leave you feeling anxious, irritable, and this also disrupts hormone levels. So how do we power up on proteins? Now, proteins is one of the hardest to digest of the 3 macronutrients, and that actually slows down the release of carbohydrates. It keeps you going, it keeps you feeling full for longer, and it maintains blood sugar. So protein helps to balance blood sugar and keeps cravings and hungriness at bay. So the top tip here, eat protein with every meal. We're talking about a protein portion is a palm size. So instead of white toast with jam, maybe have some nut butter with jam or toast with avocado. Instead of having, if you're having yogurt and fruit, well, add some seeds to it. That'll give you extra protein, or have some Greek yogurt with nuts and seeds. If you're having something like just a plain simple salad, lettuce and tomato, add some chickpeas and avocado to it. So the next thing is stop avoiding carbs. Now, we know that the simple fast release in carbohydrates, they're converted quickly into glucose to get straight into your bloodstream. Excuse me. This gives a sudden surge of energy and spike in blood sugar, followed by slump, crash. And then this leaves us feeling depleted, unmotivated, anxious, sad, which then starts a vicious cycle where we eat more carbs to get ourselves out of the slump. Vicious cycle. Now, things like headaches, irritability, fatigue, constipation, sugar cravings, high cholesterol and bloating can all be down to lack of complex carbohydrates in your diet. So go easy on the dinner portions. 1 medium potato the size of 2 eggs or half a cup of rice will balance your meal without overloading on the carbs. The key here, focus on more vegetables. We need carbohydrates if you exercise. Our muscle needs carbs to work, and exercise is important if you want to lose weight. Carbs balance protein and fat intake. Carbs provide fiber and vitamin C. Now, avoid the bad carbs, right? Soft drinks, cakes, biscuits. Swap anything white for the brown version. Swap your breakfast cereal for porridge with oats or oats made, quinoa is wonderful for breakfast, just use it in place of oats. Instead of having orange juice, because the fiber is all removed, it's easy to consume and overconsume. Have some water, could be a water infusion, and eat the whole fruit instead. So when you're going to eat your carbs, half your plate should be vegetables, quarter plate, starchy carbs. Okay. Other way to balance your blood glucose, don't fear the fats. We need fats like we talked about earlier, especially during menopause. And here's the thing, our sex hormones, they're made from cholesterol found in saturated fats. So we need to eat some fat. They slow the emptying of the stomach, and that makes carbs slower releasing, and that's what you want. The top tip here is you don't need loads. A small amount of olive oil, avocado, nuts, and seeds go a very long way. And you want to eat some with each meal. So balanced meal should include a bit of healthy fat, like a quarter avocado, a matchbox size of nuts and seeds, a tablespoon of olive oil, or a tablespoon of nuts. Now, not all fats are equal, and especially during perimenopause and menopause, we need a correct balance of essential fatty acids such as omega-3 and omega-6. They are important. The thing is, in Western diets, it tends to be much higher in omega-6, which are the inflammatory. They are much more inflammatory. And the diets tend to be lower in omega-3s. So you want to increase your omega-3 fatty acids. And this you can do by including oily fish in your diet. And I've mentioned them before, mackerel, sardines, salmon, etc. But also things like flax seeds, walnut, almonds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. The omega-6, which is the ones we have too much in our diet, and like I said, they get quite inflammatory. They come from things like sunflower oil, corn oil, and these are found a lot in processed foods, crisps, crackers, ready meals, etc. So let's talk about the dreaded weight gain now. There are several factors which contribute to weight gain during our midlife. Decrease in estrogen, slowing metabolism, less activity and exercise, aging and stress. Now, estrogen is also stored in our fat cells, and fat is stored around the middle as it's close to the liver, where it can be quickly converted to energy if needed. And often a diet that includes too many processed carbs, sugars, and often if your diet is includes too many processed carbs, sugars, and fat, the fat just tends to be stored around the middle. Now, as we get older, we need to eat less. Simple as that. Our metabolism's slowing down, and we're not as active as before, unless you are. Now, did you know that for every decade that we age, we need about 100 calories less? So, for example, if you're 50 now, you need about 300 calories less than when you were 20. So portion control becomes really important in midlife. So let's talk about portions. Are you eating the same amounts as you did a decade ago? And what are the size of your dinner plates? What do they look like? They're rather large. One top tip is eat on a smaller plate. Simple as that. Try a smaller plate. Research shows that women can put on 1.5 pounds per year in their 40s and 50s. Think about that. It can be, that adds up quickly. And I know weight is a concern for women, before, during, and after menopause. And think about it, excess body fat magnifies the risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and it can aggravate hot flushes. So muscle tissue burns more calories than fat. Said that before. Losing lean muscle leads to a slower metabolic rate, making it easier to gain weight. So some of the top weight loss mistakes women make, and I've been there. Do you expect a quick miracle? Do you skip breakfast in an attempt to eat less? Skip meals? Eat too many refined carbs? Eat no carbs? Eat too little protein? Think all fats is bad? Undereat in the first half of the day, overeat in the second half of the day. Lift no weights. You only do cardio. Eat meals infrequently. Meals are very far apart. Have the biggest meal at night. Often a binge or out of control meal, and then you wake up, you're not hungry, skip breakfast, you start all over again. The other thing I have to say is never underestimate the impact stress has on weight gain and holding on to weight. Now, here are some tips. talk about this and I'll say it throughout. Eat foods high in protein. Foods like chicken, turkey, beef, prawns, and there are many vegetarian sources of protein, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu, eggs. They're all high in protein and will keep you full. Foods high in fiber. Fiber helps you keep you full and is found in lots of fruits and veggies. Incorporate more fiber into your diet. Foods rich in water, foods rich in water, including watermelon, strawberries, even most veggies. Again, these things will keep you full and the calories of these foods are low. And you can even eat more of them. There's nothing wrong in eating things like boiled potatoes and oats. These foods fill you up. It's just how much of them you're going to eat. High volume foods, eat more of the salads, leafy vegetables. Popcorn is okay. Carrots, etc. They're low in calories. You can eat a lot of them. And they will take up more room in your stomach. And here's the other thing, ladies. Eat foods you love. If you don't incorporate foods you love in your plan, you'll eventually burn out and you'll give it up altogether. Make sure you eat foods you love. A way to beat sugar cravings: hydrate, drink. Opt for something sweet like fruit. Do healthy stuff like exercise. Eat more protein, good fats, more fiber. Then these things will keep the cravings away. And I'd like to say that most women come in all women come in different shapes and sizes. It's rare for a person to reflect the images we see on social media, magazines, fashion, TV. Be kind to yourself. Our body changes as we get older. Embrace it. So let's look at some midlife nutritional strategies. So we're not pulling it all together. I like to think about this like a midlife MOT. Balanced blood glucose, that's the key thing. When blood glucose is balanced, the body releases fat, protects lean muscle, eliminates cravings, increase energy. So you want to power up on protein because it keeps you full for longer. Stop avoiding carbs, they're your energy source. It keeps your metabolism on keel. Go beyond potatoes and pasta. Eat more veg. Fill up on fiber. Now the current recommendations is 30 grams a day. Most of us don't get enough. So you need to eat things like oats, fruit, whole grains, nuts and seeds. Fiber is really important because it's needed to support the detoxification pathway in the liver that regulates our hormone levels. So you can boost your fiber intake by sprinkling seeds on your breakfast, adding lentils to your bolognese, eat fruit and veg with the skin, add barley, quinoa, millet to soups, switch from white to brown. If you're making muffins, instead of replace a third of the flour with oats and even add some seeds in it. Feed your gut. We've talked about that with eating pre and probiotic foods. Buy natural yogurt, not the yogurts that got fruit already in it. There's full of lots of sugar in it. And eat more plants because they contain fiber. They contain excellent source of mineral and vitamin, antioxidant, polynutrients. They fill you up. They're accessible. They're relatively inexpensive, and they provide lots of prebiotics for your microbes. So what do? Take a look at your current diet. Track how many fruits and veg you eat. Then try to increase by a portion or two each week. And here's the thing: frozen fruit and vegetables are fine. They are inexpensive, and the thing with these fruits and vegetables, they're frozen at their source, and they do maintain their nutrition. I lost my train of thought there. My brain just went, add phytoestrogens to your diet. Just like I talked about, they are full of protein, good fats, complex carbs, fiber, and they keep you feeling full, and they may help with hot flushes. Now, foods to avoid. Alcohol. Before that, I want to talk about processed foods. Okay. Take stock of your diet. How much of it is ultra processed? Make a conscious effort to unprocess. You know what I'm talking about, crisps, biscuits. Try things like hummus and carrots instead. Caffeine and alcohol can exacerbate symptoms. Take stock of your consumption. Only you will know how much you're having, how many cups of tea and coffee you're having, and how late you're having it, how many drinks you have, alcoholic drinks as well. And, you know, I think one of the ladies who submitted her food diary said she stopped caffeine a few weeks ago and have noticed a big difference in brain fog and hot flushes. Honestly, both of these things can exacerbate symptoms, whereas before, you know, it didn't bother you. Do not underestimate the impact of stress. Stress can mimic symptoms of menopause, and menopause symptoms, it makes them worse. So make small changes. You know, you don't have to do a complete overhaul. Do what feels realistic. Small steps. Look, food is not good or bad. It's what you eat most of the time that matters. Healthy eating does not require perfection. Look at what you can add in. Right. Can you eat to beat the symptoms? Well, food diaries, which I sent you, I would like to talk about them afterwards. I wonder how many of you made a conscious effort to eat more healthy when you were filling out your diet. I can tell you when the first time I did one about 10 years ago, that was the healthiest I ate in those few days. So, I mean, it does have its benefits, but it was meant for you guys to just have a conscious look. All right. So eat to beat the symptoms. Like I said before, get the basics right. Balancing blood sugar, that's really, you know, important. That can help to limit hot flushes. So have a bowl of fruit always around so that you're not reaching for the snacks you shouldn't be having. In fact, don't buy the snacks you shouldn't be having, which I know is difficult if you've got other people in the house. Try enhancing your foods with lots of herbs and spices instead of sugar. So the thing is, hot flushes and night sweats, there's no magic food to stop them. Yeah, HRT is first-line therapy. The phytoestrogens may help some women, but however, things like caffeine, alcohol, stress, smoking, spicy foods can make them worse. Keep a food and symptom diary. It's really important. It will help you. Right, anxiety and overwhelm are among the most underestimated symptoms of menopause, and it can take a woman by surprise because it often creeps up during the early years of menopause. Many women suddenly experience loss of confidence. I was one of them. Or sense of anxiety, even when this has previously never been an issue. Lack of nutrients can impact mental health as well as dietary deficiency or poor absorption in your gut. So magnesium has more than 300 functions in the body, and one of them is a calming effect. So things like anxiety and sleep, it's quite useful for. And magnesium has been shown to be one of the most common deficiencies amongst women, and it is necessary for healthy hormonal balance and muscle function. So, and the other thing is magnesium helps to maintain proper levels of other minerals such as calcium, potassium, zinc. So some good sources of magnesium are things like dark green leafy veg, spinach, back to nuts and seeds, bananas, avocados, most seeds, lima beans, brown rice, dark chocolate, you can have some, anything above 70%, bananas. Make a calming juice with things like spinach, avocado, cucumber, and lime. That will give you a good boost in magnesium. Add pumpkin seeds to gosh, salad, soups. And then you get a triple whammy because you get a source of magnesium, you get omega-3s, and you get some protein. 2 other vitamins to consider for anxiety. B vitamins and C vitamins, they support optimal function of the adrenal glands, which controls the stress response. So foods rich in B vitamins are things like liver, seafood, chicken, eggs, lentils, leafy greens, nutritional yeast. Vitamin C foods are berries, citrus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, red and green onion, peppers, tomatoes. So I like to say food for moods would be things like eggs, avocado, chia seeds, sesame seeds, oily fish, chicken, cashew nuts, spinach. So you see, there's a lot of things that you probably eat all the time, just having them more consistently. Brain fog, fogginess. This is really an issue, can be really an issue. Now, our brain is 3/4 water, hence why hydration is really important because it increases focus and mental function. But so too is oily fish because it's good for cognitive brain function. And brain food would then be things like salmon, avocado, olive oil, berries. Broccoli is just one of these superfoods, just good for everything. Yeah. Brazil nuts, I'd like to mention here, are high in something called selenium, which is important for thyroid and cognitive function. And here's the thing, you only need about 2 or 3 nuts per week. I'm sorry, a few times a week, 2 or 3 nuts, 3 times a week. Bloating, chew slowly, smaller meals, avoid fizzy drinks, when you start increasing fiber in your diet, this can cause some bloating. So slowly do it. Things like peppermint, fennel, ginger tea are good for their soothing. Sometimes eating bitter foods like rocket with a meal encourages bile production that aids digestion. Again, I'll say it reduce stress. So foods, healthy foods, all the foods we talked about earlier for your gut, asparagus, ginger, garlic, berries, etc. Headaches and migraines, keep a food and symptom diary to help ID triggers. Stay hydrated, balance blood sugar, eat lots of magnesium-rich foods. HRT can be really effective for alleviating the symptoms of menopause, of migraines, if you can have it. And exercise, sleeping at regular times, limiting caffeine and alcohol. Right, let's move on to weight gain factors. The factors which contribute to weight gain are things like muscle loss, aging, stress, low metabolism. We talked about this. Estrogen, less estrogen means our body stores fat around the middle. Moving less means we're burning less calories. We are consuming most times more than we think. So if you're still eating like you were a decade ago, have a check. Look at your portion sizes. So the weight loss eating plan is like what I've been saying. Eat protein with every meal. Half a plate should be veggies at dinner. If you're having a snack, it should be protein. Include protein with it. Mindful eating in that when you're hungry, eat when you're hungry. Eat slow. Enjoy every bite. Stop when you're satisfied. Sometimes stop just a little bit before that. Aim to be consistent. We don't have to be perfect, lost weight, you can lose weight. You need to lose weight in a way you can live your life. So lift weights for health, for your joints and fat loss. Keep active. Plan your food so you know what you're going to have. Check your portion, check your calories. Joint pain, boy, that took me by surprise when I happened to have them. You need to move, even if it's little movements, hydrate. Following a Mediterranean diet is quite helpful because of its inflammatory benefits. A vitamin D supplement, we can talk about that afterwards, and aiming for more omega-3 rich foods. Try some bone broth again. So back to all the healthy oily fish, broccoli, ginger, cherries, walnuts, etc. I'd like to mention a bit about strong bones. Calcium foods, we all know that things like milk and cheese, but fish with bones, broccoli, tofu, kale are all high in calcium. Now, our bones need calcium, but also vitamin D, plenty of proteins and healthy fats. So eating dairy products and green leafy vegetables provides the right balance of calcium and magnesium for your bones. So think positive nutrition, nourishing yourself, filling up on the good stuff, and making small dietary changes and lifestyle shifts that stack up over time so they become a way of life. Well, I just need to check myself on time. Okay, so some ideas. I'm going to run through this so we don't run really late. Here are some things. Forget about diets, okay? Here I'm going to give you some ideas, and probably some of these I'll have to send them to you. Drink some lemon water first thing in the morning to kickstart your metabolism. Buy natural fruit instead of fruit-laden sugar ones. Add fresh fruit when you buy them. Add bananas, almonds, nuts, flax seeds to porridge. Add berries, walnuts, chia seeds, and honey to whole wheat cereal. Add spinach and tomatoes and ham to a cheese sandwich. Snack on fruits and nuts instead of biscuits. Eat dark chocolate above 70% instead of milk chocolate. Add frozen spinach and lentils to bolognese sauce. Jazz up a green leafy salad with quinoa, chickpeas, corn, and tomatoes. Add things like aubergine, eggplant, courgettes, and spinach to a chicken stew. Grate vegetables into a meal to make extra nutrition. Try some, grated courgettes into your pasta. if you're in the mood for some savory munchies, try some chickpeas and edamame beans roasted. It's so easy to make. So got the sugar cravings, swap sugar cravings for naturally sweet foods. Almonds dipped in honey, homemade protein balls. If you look at my Instagram account, I've got some recipes for those. Fresh homemade fruit. Try some fruit smoothies, and when you make a smoothie, chuck in some vegetables as well. Toast with jam, swap that and have something like I mentioned before, avocado toast, and make sure your bread is whole wheat or seeded. Okay, how about something a little bit more fun, some snacks. Strawberries and almond butter, Greek yogurt and mixed cherries, grapes and brie or cheddar when you got the munchies, edamame beans and raspberries and feta as a little mini salad, yum. Cantaloupe and feta and mint, hard-boiled egg and apples, you can take this to work with you, carrots and hummus or celery and hummus, cottage cheese, flat cheese and cinnamon. So basically take a typical meal, look at what it is, add protein with it in each meal and how to incorporate. Make sure you have a bit of good fats too. And enough carbs to keep you going. And don't forget a sprinkling of phytoestrogens. Whew. So pulling it all together now. Healthy lifestyle habits. It's really important. You need to prioritize. You need to learn to say no. You need to put me first. And I know we as women, we put everybody else first. But if you fall apart, then everything else falls apart. When it comes to lifestyle, look at your physical activity. Move more. Do something that you like. Small amounts of movement is better than nothing. It can be short bursts. 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes on the trot. Get a friend. Get somebody to push you. Get a partner to help you. Walking, HIIT, yoga, swimming. Whatever takes your fancy, just do something. A food and symptom diet is really helpful because it helps to tell a story, and you can talk to this with your healthcare professional. It also helps you to identify triggers. It helps you to eat better. Have a balanced eating plan because it helps you to decide what you're going to add in. De-stress. It's so important. It's as simple as this breathing exercise I'm going to tell you. It's where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and you breathe out for 8, where you're breathing in through your nose, you hold, and then you gush out through your mouth. And if that's too much, try just in, hold, breath, whatever it takes. Sometimes when you're so stressed, you just need to take some deep breaths. So it's crucial at this time of your life to put your own health and your well-being ahead of everything and everyone else, because it significantly reduces your stress levels, it eases the symptoms of menopause, and makes your life much better. It is about focusing on you. And that's me in a whistle-stop tour telling you about perimenopause and menopause. Karen, let us take some. I need a drink.
Wow, Sabrina, I really didn't expect you to start that with a statement along the lines of, do you feel like you've been run over by a bus?
Well, I did.
Wow. And then you've just taken us through a journey of so many ideas. And I was just thinking about my allotment, and you mentioned a number of things that I grow. So kale, I have an abundance of at the moment, and courgette. So I feel really, really opportunist about that. But some really, really great ideas. So I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you, Sabrina. And then we're going to go to questions.